is about turning the most troubling and trying times in your life into one of the most best things that's ever happened to you. Have you ever heard somebody say, I'm so grateful that turned out that way. I'm so grateful that it happened to me because it made me who I am. Alchemy. In the moment, we may not see where this is taking us or how this is benefiting us. But as time progresses, we learn to understand that this had to happen. I think about all the times in my life that I was in the most trying moments. Actually, to think about it, right now in my life as I film this video, there's something that I'm experiencing. It's like a spiritual awakening times 20. And that's also what pushed me to actually film this video, because it's about time. I said I was going to talk about this a while back, and here I am. But yeah, when you look back to some of the most trying times in your life, I sit and think for myself, like, I am the person I am because of the trying time, because of the moments of fear and doubt. When I thought I wasn't going to make it, when I thought that I wasn't going to see the other side, I needed that because it shaped me and formed me into this person that I am today. So transformation, right? Self-improvement. If you guys don't know, I have a podcast launching with Lola, and it's all about self-actualization, just achieving autonomy and, basically control over oneself and mastering the art of knowing who you are and the power you possess. When you master that and you understand that, you're able to move in life boldly, because when you know you're a child of God, when you know that you have God on your side, you move differently. You have, his shield and his armor, and he's protecting you and guiding you. And you know that if you fall, you will get up. You know that if you fail, he will pick you up, and he will always be there no matter what, with your flaws and your sins. So on my podcast, I like to bring everything back to God and everything back to faith. And that is how I remain solid in who I am. And, I have my moments of weakness, but I always rise above. And that's because I know who I am, God's special child. Okay? Yeah, we always go back to that. Okay? That's my strength. That's my source of strength, knowing that I'm God's child. I can't sit here in front and act like there's another reason. There isn't. I just believe in God so wholeheartedly. And that's why I move boldly. So in terms of self-improvement, it's talking about introspection and really turning inwards, just knowing who you are, being self-aware of the habits that you have. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? What are the things you said you were going to do and haven't done? Do you trust yourself? Self-trust is super important, because when you trust yourself, you're able to progress through the goals you set, in terms of, having a solid foundation. If you can do one thing right, you'll do another thing right. It's kind of like stacking habits. I believe somebody talked about this. I will put it on the screen if I find it and remember. But when you are able to do one thing right, you trust yourself to do another thing right. And before you know it, compound interest, you start doing all these things. Boom, a really great project comes into fruition. You achieve this level of desire, or you achieve this level of self that has allowed you to maximize your life in whatever way you want. So that is what self-improvement is. It's all about self. Well, God first, period. But self is super important, because you have to be in control of yourself. You cannot control anybody else's actions, their words, and their thoughts. They are a reflection. What they do is a reflection of them. What you do is a reflection of you. Okay? So always remember that. Always bring yourself back to that, and let that be your peace, and let that be your knowing. The third one is creative innovation. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had already recorded this video and I wasn't really feeling it. If you guys don't know, I feel like my thoughts are I may speak fast. I don't know if that's coming out in this video, but my thoughts sometimes are just running through my mind. Like, the dots are just dotting, okay? And when my words come out, they come out in the speed of my thoughts. So I'm kind of in this process of trying to just kind of slow down, and just tell myself that it'll be okay. It's okay to just slow down, right? And there's power in silence, and there's power in speaking slow. But so creative innovation, I think this goes into autonomy, right? And entrepreneurship, and people having their crafts and their, the things that they're passionate about. And I believe that as spiritual beings. You know, we are not, in today's society, it's when someone tells us what to do. I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I like to think that most people feel this way. I definitely feel this way. I don't like being told what to do. I don't. I've always been like that. I have always been self-sufficient in the sense that if someone tells me no, I figure out a way to get it. If, you know, I'm not doing this here, I'm going to do it there. Like, I've just always kind of made a way for myself, and I've always picked myself up. I think that also comes from having a really strong mother who raised me. I always saw her taking care of herself and, you know, putting God first. And, you know, she really paved the way for me to just follow in pursuit, right? So in terms of creative innovation, I think that it is really important to, you know, find the things that you're passionate about and find the things that you love. This is something that you will only figure out if you already don't know, right? By introspection and sitting still, sitting with yourself and asking yourself, what are the things that bring a smile to your face? What are the things that make you happy? What are the things that you want to wake up and do every day? For me, I realized, y'all, I love waking up and journaling. And I know that sounds crazy, but she wrote this book and she talks about the morning pages, and it's 3 pages of stream of conscious writing. And it's really good for creatives. It's really good to, you know, kind of empty that brain out in the morning, kind of reduce and minimize that chatter so that you can really laser focus on the task that you have before you. Morning pages have saved me. They've allowed me to, like I said, I told you guys my thoughts are racing, okay? So the morning pages have allowed me to really kind of just see my thoughts for what they are and kind of just let the ones that need to be heard, and the ones that can kind of exit, if that makes sense. So morning pages are really, really good if you have a lot of brain chatter, if you're an overthinker, maybe if you have anxiety. I would really try stream of conscious writing in the morning. 10 out of 10 recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend. So yeah, so morning pages for me. So like, I love waking up in the morning and writing. I have my notebook set out, I have my pen set out. Actually, I have this notebook. I'm currently in Japan, so I got this notebook, and it's like literally like maybe 40, 50 pages, beautiful paper. I have my name in the front, but I've been using this while I've been here, just writing daily. And, you know, and sometimes I won't do stream of conscious writing. Sometimes I'll just write affirmations. I'll write Bible verses. I'll just write a prayer to God. You know, everything is just kind of dependent on the vibe that morning, right? I never hold myself to such a strict standard. I kind of like to give myself room as well, because you don't want to create a routine for yourself that's hard for you to follow, or that's kind of just annoying, you know? And I don't like doing the same thing every day. I love spontaneity. I love trying new things. I love going new places. So I kind of have to make sure I implement that in my routine in some way, shape, or form, if that makes sense. So yeah, so, and I love waking up in the morning and making my coffee, okay? Like taking my sea moss, period, okay? Gotta get my minerals and my water, okay? Flushing out the toxins, taking my sea moss, let my organs, let my blood alkalize and soak up those minerals and the vitamins, the amino acids and the omegas from my sea moss, so my body is prepped, okay? I like to do herbal hot tea because I know that that's good for our stomachs. For women, if you have period cramps, warm liquids, whether it's warm water and turmeric, warm water and a herbal tea. There's so many different things that we can do. So I love waking up in the morning and really nourishing my body from a physical standpoint, so that I'm like, sometimes I'll go on morning walks. I haven't really been consistent with that, but that is something that I want to be consistent with, because the air outside feels so good in the morning, right before the sun comes up, right before everybody starts hustling and bustling. It's just a great time to be up, y'all. So morning walks and type of movement, or stretching, right? Some 2-minute deep stretching, okay? Like a little down dog, a little cat cow, you know, just something really chill. Like, don't stress yourself out. Do little things, start small. Compound interest is a thing. If you are doing little by little, one day, baby, you're gonna be like, damn, I did that. Yes. And you didn't give up on you. So yes, it'll come to pass. But you can't give up. You got to start, and you got to keep the ball rolling, okay? Snowball effect, okay? But yeah, so I noticed for me, like, I love getting up and doing that. I love getting up and taking my sea moss, making some warm water, and then when I make my coffee, I'm like, yes, it's so good. And I've been drinking my coffee with sugar, y'all. And if you know me, I love to drink my coffee black. But y'all, I've just been having a sweet tooth out here, y'all. The pastries and stuff is fire. So it really has me adding sugar into my coffee. But I love it so much. And I treat myself, It's okay. So that's what I look forward to, my coffee. Then once I got my coffee, I sit down, morning pages, talk to God. I'm a little bit at ease. The physical is taken care of. All right, let me take care of my spirit. So creative innovation. Number 4 is spiritual growth. Now, this is like, I basically kind of talked about that with the morning pages and, talking to God, like I said, and I will always say I take God extremely serious. I went to church on Sunday for the first time in I don't know how long, y'all, but I went to church out here in Japan, 10 out of 10. It was actually a majority Black church, Black people, and there were a few Japanese people, but it was Black people, spoke English. Pastor is Black, he speaks English. I think he's African American. And beautiful service. He was talking about humility and being humble and knowing, and I want to talk about this really quick, but knowing that you have to remind yourself that God comes before you. You cannot put yourself before God, because then you're always going to be chasing something in life. You're always going to be trying to fill a void. When you put God first, you, 1, are showing God respect. 2, are telling yourself that this ego gotta go. Because when you put God first, you can't have ego, because God is supposed to fill that ego, if that makes sense. You can't have both simultaneously, if that makes sense. So I love the sermon. He was talking about humility. He was talking about serving one another, your heart posture, checking for the things that you want. Why do you want them? What are you doing with them? And speaking of, I was taking notes in church in this notebook. The verse was 1 Peter 5:5. Y'all have a lot of notes in here. And yeah, he was just saying humility is a form of worship. So we worship God through, alabanza, speaking in Spanish, through praise and worship. We worship. I think your relationship with God should be something personal. You can go to church and that's fine, but what do you do behind closed doors? How do you do things when no one's looking? That's God sees all. So we can go to church and we can, but who are we when no one is looking? Who are we when we are alone? Who are we when we are doing the things that we think we can get away with, but we forget that God is looking at us 24/7. He's omnipotent, omnipresent. He's everywhere. And I remind myself of that daily. So I I believe that I do things with so much love, because I've understand and mastered that God is a God of love. And when you put love at the forefront of the things you do, your life, the miracles that happen are out of this world, because God does things that no man has ever seen, no ear has ever heard. So always remind yourself of that you serve a powerful God, and he can really turn things around for your good. So the pastor continued to talk about, he said, Lord, do I acknowledge your will, your sovereignty? We must come before God. Anytime I make a big decision in my life, or I have to make a hard decision, or I don't know where to go, I ask God. And God will give you signs. He will give you signs. I remember one time I asked God for a sign. And I don't know if you guys know the story about Gideon in the Bible. But he asked, he said if the fleece was wet, he was supposed to fight I forgot what the tribe was called, but God made the fleece wet, and the next day he told the fleece to be dry. God made the fleece dry. God will blow your mind. So when people also, I've heard people say you can't ask God for signs, but in the Bible, people ask God for signs. I ask God for signs. There's a lot of people on social media and in our little community that talks about asking God for signs, and he'll give it to you. And I asked God for a sign. I said, and God blew my mind. I said, God, if you want me to do this, this person is going to say this. But I said by Friday. And then I remember I talked to my sister about this. I was like, but the person said it a week later. And she was like, you cannot give God a timeline. The person said it. I said, oh my God. forgive me, Lord. I said, oh my gosh. The person said it, y'all. I said, oh my, now I gotta make the hard decision. And then it's like after God gives you confirmation, you gotta be obedient. It's a lot, y'all, being God's children, but we can do this if we hold each other accountable. Okay, so yeah, spiritual growth is, I think, alchemy. Like, I don't know if you're watching this, if you don't believe in God, or if you don't have someone that you lean on for strength. But I pray that, I don't want to impose anything, but I want you to know that God can blow your mind if you let him. That is all I can say. But anyways, y'all, I'm going to cut this video here because this is getting long. But I'm glad that we were able to talk about alchemy, period. Okay? Shout out my life experiences. Well, shout out God first. Shout out my mother who raised me and all the amazing role models in my life. My sister, my brother, my friends. I love y'all. If you're watching this, thank you so much. If you're new here, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching all the way until this point. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're on a journey where we're talking about all things God and self. And I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And I will have my website below, and I'll have it right here, holisticlola.com. You can sign up for my monthly emails. I love to send out things that are uplifting and encouraging and inspiring, because that's what we do around here, okay? We may be down for a little bit, but we get back up. Alchemy is our best friend, and alchemy will save you after God. Bye.